to be under the judiciary, or we need a world police to police us.
Okay. That increase the
because the activities of our politicians is becoming unbearable. But what is really exciting is the debate surrounding our nation. We're going to be free. Is that we're going to reform the judiciary, or we're going to need external help? A very good evening to you. Very, very good evening. My name is Daddy Chris, and this is coming to you from actually the Urhobo television desk here in London. We're just going to look at issues from our point of view, away from the Niger Delta with the Urhobo people. So it's a different view when we talk about the Nigeria than how you see it. We all see Nigeria from our own different point of view. If you watch me, I've been on the State of the Nation for quite some time now, trying to look at one or two issues, bring in my own ideas in, but today I'm in the presence of greatness. I have my boy, my own man, in fact, he's a former, when I say my boy, you think he's the boy. No, he's a big boy. When I say he's a big boy, I mean he's a big boy. He was a former governorship aspirant for the office of the Delta State Governor. He ran a very successful campaign. You guys will know him. In fact, he's one of those people I talk to. And when I finish with him, I go and re-examine myself if I know what I was doing at all. So, and that is what I have been with Roland for quite some time now. His name is Engineer Edere Roland Ubiomo. He's going to be here with me this evening, and I'm going to talk less. I want to let him do the talking because he is somebody you need to listen to. If I were you, I'll pick a pen and I'll listen to Roland. Listen, I'm going to just quickly run on to him. Roland, you're welcome to this beautiful show this evening. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Roland, for coming on the show.
Yeah, good evening, and it's my pleasure to be in the show with you once again.
Yes, yeah, Roland. Yes, it's like I said. Every time I stand on my own, I look at an issue. When I come to you, I begin to examine myself. Daddy Chris, do you even know what you were saying? So that is how you make me feel, which is good. It's good. It means sometimes you think you're very smart, and then I just say, oh, no, maybe, hey, I need to see things from different angles, and that is what you have always taught me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Roland. So today, let's look at Nigeria, a country so blessed, no doubt. And before we maybe even going to look at that, let's look at our life as a nation. Where are we as a country, Roland? Who is Nigeria? Where are we? They say we're the giant of Africa. Are we? Have we been able to prove that senior brotherhood? And what is it? Who is Nigeria in your book?
Thank you very much. Let me start by introducing myself and also thanking those who have created time to join the program this evening. My name is Ediri Aro Idimi Ubiomo. I hail from Ituru Elume in the Saple local government area of Okpe Kingdom, and also from Kokori in Agbon Kingdom, all in Delta State. I'm a Nigerian and Africa. I'm the president and the CEO of African Forest Trade and Partner. Currently, our company operates in about 98 African countries, and we are still expanding the business. So with respect to the question you have asked, if you look at where we are as a nation, I do not think we have done very well as a people and also as a country. You can see that in all sphere of our lives and also our country, the statistics, they are not very good. And this is not only affecting us in our country, it's also affecting the way other people looks at us. Just recently, the American people made a restriction for Nigerians not to be granted visa to their country. That does not show respect. That's one. Then two, you see, I saw a video before this program where They are talking about Nigerians traveling to a country like Mali to practice prostitution. That does not tell well of us too. Then you see the problem with insecurity in the country. In the northern part of the country today, people are just killed. People are killed like the way you kill chicken during a festive period,
Yes,
and
yes,
nobody
yes.
says
So,
anything. Nobody does anything. Some group of people will just invade communities, kill people, and they will go scot-free. Nothing happens to them. You see, when things like this are happening in your country, then there are no basis for other people to respect you actually, because you cannot dare kill an American in America. Then the American government will not deploy all their resources to go after you and to get you. What is important is you cannot have a society without crime, but for those who commit crime, the government has a fundamental responsibility to bring them to
just
justice. But in Nigeria, imagine a general was killed in northern Nigeria. Nothing happened. As a fact, the government did not address, a press conference, to show that this is not something that will be taken lightly. So the country is not in a very good position at the moment. A whole lot has to be done to redirect the country back to the right path. It's
all right.
unfortunate that we're not
Yeah.
in the right path at the moment.
And that before we jump to the other segment of the show, let me then ask you: Donald Trump at one time threatened to do this job if Nigerian government are not doing so. Would you be in support of that?
Yeah, so for the intervention which Donald Trump proposed, he clearly stated the conditions. So one of it is he urged the Nigerian government to take some actions against these perpetrators. Yeah, you can also say the Tinubu administration responded to a large extent um, positively, but it's not also very significant. So he changed, he shuffled the cabinet a little, gave some directive, but I don't think that is enough because people are still being killed.
Okay.
We have to stop the killing. And I think with what happened in Niger and how the Nigerian military was deployed, it shows it's not a problem with capacity. I think
Even,
from what happened in Niger,
even in Benin
Nigeria
Republic,
has
in Benin
the
Republic,
capacity.
yes,
Yeah,
it happened in Benin
yes,
Republic
but
too. Yes,
yes, but the will, I think that is what is lacking. And if you read the body language of the people in power at the moment, um, they don't seem to be interested in governance. They also do not seem to be interested in the security of lives and property or in the welfare of the people. Um, the body language of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and most of the governors, you see all of them, they are moving to one party now. Their body language shows they are more interested in politics, how to win election, how to rig election, than to deliver governance or performance in government. That's bulk of the problem we are facing, I think. Yes.
it's really sad. It's really sad. But anyway, Roland, and I know we're coming back to Tinubu very soon, but let us take a little bit of a memory lane. Let's look back from 1999, Roland, till now, because because it will not be right, or maybe we might miss some of this message if we don't look at where Nigeria is coming from than before Tinubu. We had Obasanjo for 8 years. Roland, we still don't. We're still where we are. Let me be very specific. Still no electricity in Nigeria. We had
Yes.
the time of Yaradua. Yaradua declared the state of emergency. The only person, the only president that almost declared the state of emergency on Nigerian electricity. Still to today, we don't have electricity. And now, good luck came. Good luck spent good 6 years. We are still where we are. Buhari of all people, in fact, from the time of good luck down to now, it's been insecurity, insecurity. So we're not even thinking of electricity anymore. Now we just want to be alive in Nigeria. What would you have to say about a country so big? Are we big for nothing?
Yeah. So, um, just as I said earlier, my business involved a lot of African countries lately. We currently operate in more than 75% of the African countries. So, and some other parts of the world. So I can easily be able to compare what is happening in Nigeria at the moment with um, with other parts of the world and other parts of Africa. From 1999 till date, I think initially we started um, not excellently well, but just good enough to set the country at the right path when we transited from military administration to the current democracy. Obasanjo had some challenges, but then one thing good about his administration is that the policies were very okay. The policies were okay. So he brought most of the policies we are working with at the moment. So you have the regulation of the downstream and the midstream subsector of the oil and gas industry. He initiated the local content ideology, although finally Goodluck Jonathan made it a law. Then you see the autonomy of the Nigerian university. That's another good policy. Then privatization of the power sector. That's another good policy. So most of the policies they were good during his time, and that's why you see the performance also reflect the policies. And most importantly, Obasanjo ran administration with technocrats. So he did not just run political government where you just
Yes.
employ all the politicians who assist you to
All
win
the
election or lose
help you to win.
election.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
to compensate them. No, Obasanjo brought big brains. He brought Soludo into government. He brought Eze Kwesili, Dr. Eze Kwesili into government. Then Dr. Nkonjo Wela into. So there are
Yes.
so many bright minds he attracted into government, and it made his administration to a large extent successful. So if you look at the statistics, if you look at after the negotiation of the debt uh, forgiveness for Nigeria, then you see the Nigeria GDP to debt ratio became very low. Then you also look at the Nigerian GDP growth; it was very high. And one key secret is deep water investment in Nigeria there was high. So what it means is the foreign direct investment to Nigeria became also very, very high because you have some capital project into the oil and gas industry. You have the LNG project, for instance, during his time. You have a deep water project in the oil and gas industry, like the Era Field development by ExxonMobil. You have the Bonga Field development by ExxonMobil. So all these brought a lot of capital. And in one of his videos, there was also a testimony about how he was able to assist the Dangote to increase our productivity in cement production. So there are a lot of effort Obasanjo put during his administration. Then if you also look at the Yaradua administration, he continued in that part of
Yes.
Obasanjo policy.
Mhm.
He continued in that part. There was one error we had as a nation, one blunder, one big blunder. One of it is before Obasanjo left office, Obasanjo had already, privatized the refinery and the petrochemical companies. So if you look at Port Harcourt Refinery and Petrochemical Company, for instance, Obasanjo had already sold the refinery and petrochemical company before he handed over to Yaradua. But when Yaradua came in, you had the NLC led by Adams Oshumole at that time. They went on strike. They shut down the whole country. That the sector should not be deregulated. The refinery should not be privatized. So it was also a very big blunder for the refinery sales to be reversed. So you have close to 16 years, you're now battling with the same problem which Obasanjo would have solved in his own time by that privatization. If you look at that reversal, the petrochemical company was not reversed. So if you go to Rivers State now, Eleme Petrochemical Company, which is now in Dorama, is one of the largest petrochemical companies in Africa at the moment. Your production is so massive, it has expanded. So if you had allowed the refinery then to go through, today we would not actually be having issue with respect to refining products in Nigeria before Dangote now launched this project. So that was also one critical slide we had in our history. Then Goodluck Jonathan came after the death of Yaradua. The Goodluck Jonathan administration also just followed the same, policy blueprint with Obasanjo to Yaradua. So the country, even though it is not best off where we should be, we are looking at it from the context of our resources and our human capital resources, but then it is better than what we have now. So during Goodluck administration, he also worked with bright minds. He attracted, some intelligent minds who ran different ministry under him, and he also faced a very tough opposition from the APC you have today. They resorted into very extremely negative politicking, blackmailing of the administration, and they did all kinds of things. Even though when they knew that some of the policies were good for the country, they went against them just to blackmail the government. But ultimately, Buhari was given the power, and you can see what has happened from that 2014 till date. So the first thing he did was to crash the Nigerian economy, and that's where we are. You see the Naira slipping all the way from 198 Naira to the dollar to where we are today. We now like 1,500 Naira to the dollar. So it's nothing to talk about. I went to Angola some years ago. When I got there initially, the Naira was ×2 of the Angolan Kwanza. But before I left Angola, the Angola Kwanza became ×2 of the Nigerian Naira. That is a reflection of where we are today. And so you have Buhari destroying everything about the economy, destroying all the sector, including the oil and gas industry, which he mismanaged highly, and there's almost nothing left. So you today have Tinubu trying to revive, a dead economy. So some of the policies he has started with, they are good enough policy, which are policies which have been all the way since Obasanjo, the deregulation of the midstream and the downstream sector of the oil and gas industry with the subsidy removal. That's good policy. Then the floating of the Naira, that is also good policy. Then the privatization or increase of tariff in the power sector, it's also not a very bad policy. But then the main problem we are facing today, we'll discuss it extensively, is extreme corruption. So when you're saving money from the left and wasting it with your right hand, it's as if you're making no gain. And that is where the problem is now. So you see a president that has passed the burden of the subsidy to the Nigerian people. So the Nigerian people ends up paying for that burden. Then you spent the money, you know, in just giving your aids, sometimes in the name of security and etc. etc. So that's the big burden we have to now start discussing. Yes.
Roland, 2026 is around the corner. A new tax regime is about to be upon us. You've been analyzing the good policies. Is that good for the country in your own book?
This is so the tax they proposed. I personally think it's coming at the very wrong time. Everything about tax is coming at the wrong time. So you just slam the Nigerian people with subsidy removal. You increase tariff of electricity bill for them to pay, and you also increase interest rate. You know, small and medium scale businesses cannot survive anymore in Nigeria. You can just go and inquire in the banks. The interest rate, commercial interest rate, is 40%. So how do you expect somebody who wants to start up a small and medium scale business to go and take loan at 40% and the business will survive? Then you came back, haven't squandered both the money you recovered from subsidy, the money you recover from increase of tariff and floating of the currency, haven't squandered them with nothing to show for them. Then you come back and say you want to tax, you know, the Nigerian people that are already impoverished. And so it's a very wrong approach to governance. Very extremely wrong approach to governance. I don't know those who advise President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, but I think he's taking the Nigerian people for granted. And if he's not careful, this new tax law could result into violence that the country may not be able to control. Yes. Yeah. It's taking the Nigerian people for granted. It's coming at a very wrong time when things are so tough for people, there are no jobs. And there are other ways you can create wealth, not going to tax already impoverished people who are struggling to survive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the president don't get it. But Roland, to be fair to this president, it's Nigeria. Okay, let me put it this way. You look at our population. We're not dull people. We're not just some people with no education, people who cannot speak out. Yet all these things are happening. It's like we are coping. We are getting on with it. We are fine because many Nigerians can survive. They can afford their own security. They can have their own electricity. They can have their own homes. So this thing we are discussing, it becomes not a national issue, but a personal issue. Because Nigerians they're not really suffering from what I can see. If they are suffering, then they will say no. We are not small people. How come we are not speaking out?
Yes, the situation we have at the moment is fast becoming a self-survivor situation, which is very bad. So since the government is not there for the people, most people have resorted into self-survivor. So you can see Nigerians on social media now discussing issues about, leaving their country and go through Morocco desert and Libya desert to run as if, they are chasing them from their country. Things are that bad. Then if you come to Nigeria, you go to different cities, crime rate is increasing. Then you see our young ladies, they are now resorting into prostitution, something ordinarily they will not do if they have jobs, they have means of employment, they have means of empowerment. So the situation has resorted into like life in the jungle. You just have to think of how to survive yourself, which is not supposed to be when you are looking at the resources we have as a nation, and also the human capital resources we have as a people is not supposed to be.
Yes.
So I think more of the discussion now, we should look at what needs to be done, because there are a lot that we can do
Yeah, I was
to
coming to
turn
that.
around the situation. There are a lot we can do.
Yes. Yes, I was coming to that because it's okay to see where we are, and now the president have a lot to handle. To some extent, before we come to what we can do, Roland, let's take a look at even the structure of the Nigerian state first. We have the federal government, we have the state government, and then we have the local government. Frankly, the it's all about sharing money, really, Roland, because the federal government is not doing anything to make money to diversify the economy. The states are waiting for allocation from the federal. Local government does not even exist. It's like the money of the local government is for the states to marry more wives. How do we do this, Roland? What is this? Is this the president's fault?
So, Daddy Chris, you're very correct. So, one of the reasons why Nigeria cannot move forward is because of the structure. The structure is almost upside down. So, it's not practically possible for the country to move forward with the current structure. So if you want to compare yourself, for instance, with other countries, because what you need to do as a country, the life has become so simplified that today you can easily copy models from other
Yes.
people.
Okay, model.
Because you don't need to go and reinvent the wheel. You don't need to go and reinvent the plow. You
Yes.
can easily just copy from them, implement it. And because these are scientific model, you will get the same result
True.
or almost the same result when you copy it. So if you look at your demography is like the one of the United States of America or the one of Canada. These are the demography, the very diverse kind of people. You understand that is divided into states. That's the demography. So if you look at the US, you look at Canada. Canada has 40 million people, but they also have about 5,000 local government areas. You see, 40
1,000.
million people, 5,000 local government area. Nigeria has about 250 million people, and you have just 774 local government. It's
I
not
think I,
practically possible for
think we have
grassroots
200 million.
development. It's not possible. That's one.
I
Then
think
two, let's look at the details even. So let's look at the details. So Nigeria, for instance, compared with Canada. In Canada, their constitution do not have the number of local government areas in the constitution. No, it is the responsibility of the state to divide their territory into the amount of local government areas that is good enough for their own grassroots development. You see it? But in Nigeria, you created a structure where you have local government just to share money. Then how can the country? It's not possible for the country to move forward. I heard the president talking about autonomy of Nigerian local government. That is not autonomy. That is just a fraud. Because if you look at what happens in Canada and in US, that is what autonomy is. So the local government can generate their funds, their revenue, and remit to the state and get their share of the revenue directly from what they generate. So when you look at community service, even in the UK, there are community service which the local government provides, and they make money from it.
Yes, they do.
They make money from it.
Actually pay
And that
council
is,
tax. We pay council tax.
yes. They make money from it. So what you should expect is in Nigeria, everything that has to do with local government has to be the responsibility of the state. The state, with the act of a state, the state should be able to divide its local government, its land territory into different local government for the purpose of grassroots development, and also to generate revenue from the grassroots. That's what we need to do. I was expecting,
Yes.
I was even expecting that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was part of NADECO, who was a governor of Lagos State, and during his time as a governor, he created, I think, about 50 local government area for Lagos State for grassroots development. He's now the president. I was expecting some of the first restructuring he will do is to ensure that the power to create local government is removed from the federal government to the state government. That's what I was expecting him to do. Yeah.
But Roland, you're talking about UK, where the city of London, which is like the state, understand that they have to raise money. Where the local government are designed, our local government, our boroughs, they're making money, Roland. They run our housing. They do a lot. In fact, your welfare, so many things come from the local government.
Yes.
I've never heard any Nigerian local government making money.
It does not exist. It only exists in paper just to share money.
The state governors are not making money. They're waiting for the allocation that is coming from Abuja.
Yes.
How can you tell such people to create more local government? What are they going to do with it? So they share more money?
No, the idea is both the structure you need, just as you said. You know, you have the concurrent list and the exclusive list in your constitution that defines what the federal government can do only and what the federal government and the state government can do. So by the time you easily move your creation of local government to the states, and all the local government, you give them the responsibility of social service at the local government level. That's one. Then two, tasks at the local government level. That is two. Then three, whatever resources in your land that is produced, you get direct percentage from the resources. The local government will become standalone to operate in reality. So what it means is, if you take example with, you create local government in Etiosa in Lagos, just the beer people drink and the tax they collect directly as local government is enough for the local government to function independently. So that's what you need. But now it is not so. So what happens now is, if you look at what you have in, let's take example with the Warri Southwest local government or the Warri South local government. So whatever they generate, both in crude oil revenue, is taken by the federal government straight. Then the federal government needs to share that money, but it's not supposed to be like that. You, as a local government, you're supposed to have directly from source. That is enough for you to run your local government within your geographical area where the resources comes from. Yeah, that's what people are saying. So when you do it like that, the way it is in Canada, then the local government becomes a standalone. You know, it is so funny that if you look at our state, for instance, Delta State, our state is already structurally and traditionally divided into local government area.
Yes.
So if you take example with Ukbe Kingdom, where I came from, we have 13 districts which are like local government areas in Ukbe. But then the Ukbe only have 2 federal local government instead of 13 local government. And you see, those 2 federal local government is just to share money to them. They almost non-existent.
Exactly.
The police station in Saple, the headquarters in Saple, was built by Saple Ukbe community, not Saple local government area. So the local government, the community, which are the district, some of them are they are performing more projects than the government local government area. That's the reality we have. So if you take example with Ogara cannot just be Ethiopia West, including Sume. Ogara itself is divided into local government. You have Ovade, you have Ogariki, You
It's
have
so much.
Ogari. These are standalone local government areas on its own. Ovade alone, that today there's no roads to Ovade, even with the wealth that comes out of that local government area. Ovade. There's no, but if Ovade is designed as a local government and it has part of the resources that comes out of Ovade in oil and gas, the Ovade local government retain, let's say 10% of it. It will just be more than enough for the local government to develop. Yeah.
Even 5%. What a disaster. Oh, Nigeria. Roland, I can't get involved. Okay, Roland,
so the structure is something they have to look at. If not, Nigeria cannot move forward this way. It's practically not possible. This is just one of the reasons why we cannot move forward. In the course of the discussion, we would also discuss other reasons, because you today need to look at other economies in the world. What are they doing?
Yeah, in fact, it's exactly
What
what
can
I'm
we
going
do?
to ask. You see, Roland, they say the arithmetic does not add up. We have the best of human resources, like I started the show with. Have the best of natural resources. Now we are naturally endowed with some good political structure which were already in place, which are still in place. Where did we get this whole thing wrong? What can we do today to turn the hand of the clock?
So let's look at this discussion holistically. It's a very sensitive discussion. If you look at where we are at the moment, from the federal to all the state level, if we continue this way, probably for the next 5,000 years, we will not move forward.
Okay.
Things will continue to get worse.
Yes.
A clear example is a video I saw before I joined this program. I saw a video where Lokoja, everywhere in Lokoja was blocked due to bad road and people are traveling. I schooled in Mina. When I was in school, that road used to be good. And when we were coming by, it used to be free. But today, imagine the whole road is blocked because there are no roads anymore. So let's look at some economies in the world that, they also pass through similar experience we have now, and they've come out of it. I think the best one to look at is China. China today is not just what it has always been.
No way.
China is 5,000 year civilization. And most times of the 5,000 years, China was doing very poorly, just like the way Nigeria is doing now. But there are some things they did that changed the narrative. Today, we are like in a globalized world where information are easy to access. And we can easily access information about how China became the great nation it is today and just follow the model. Let me give you one good example why it is very difficult for we to move forward, and why you see politicians talking about infrastructure project and things are not happening. The simplest example is infrastructure. So if you look at the Nigerian budget, for instance, the first largest component of the budget is normally security. Then the second largest component of the budget is infrastructure. How does Nigeria develop its infrastructure? So that's the question we need to ask ourselves. And how does China develop its infrastructure? That Chris and the audience that are listening to this program, they need to listen well. Why we cannot move forward this way. So if you look at Nigeria, for instance, I was born and I met the road all the way from Lagos to Calabar. And since I was born, they have been constructing the road non-stop. Till date, they are still constructing the road.
You're right.
Most parts of the road are completely destroyed today. The road from Lagos to Calabar, the areas in Benin, all those areas, they're almost gone. They continue constructing the road. But let's look at what China is doing. The first major highway in China was constructed after we have even constructed ours, 1993. The first major highway. But what is the difference? So China in 1979 established what is known today as the Chinese State Construction Engineering Company. Chinese State Construction Engineering Company. That's the largest construction company in the world today. And why did they establish it? So here is the deal. There is no nation on earth that wants to be developed, then you will be using the currency of other nations to develop your infrastructure. No, it's a wrong strategy. So by establishing the Chinese State Construction Engineering Company, what China did invariably is to localize the construction of their infrastructure. So you construct with Chinese yuan. That's the secret. Because the resources, the materials you need for construction work, they are local based everywhere. So if you want to construct roads, for instance, in Nigeria, and you have the Nigerian state, being able, have the capacity to carry out the construction, what do you need to construct roads? You have all the materials here. So to start with, you need sand. You have a lot of sand here. You need granite. You have them here. You need water. You have them here. You need even bitumen. You have bitumen resources here. Then you need human being. And you see, the good thing about you constructing your infrastructure yourself, it means the money you are making is going to the hands of your people. That is the game changer for China. It's going to the hands of your people. But that's not what Nigeria is doing. Nigeria goes to World Bank, collect $5 billion and give it to Julius Berger that takes the money away again. The money does not go into your country. It goes out of your country. You sell crude oil, you give it to Julius Berger. Julius Berger carry the money and take it away. But that's not what China is doing. China is constructing their infrastructure with Chinese yuan, paying Chinese. So the money is circulating within the Chinese economy. So look at the second largest component of your budget in Nigeria. If you carry that money and give it to foreigners, then how do you move forward? You can never move forward.
Agree.
It's not practically possible.
Roland,
so what countries do, you develop local capacity so that the money goes to your country, to the hands of your countrymen who are constructing roads, who are constructing housing, who are constructing railway line. And this is where China beats the America today, because they've localized infrastructure construction. So what it means, Xi Jinping, the president of China, can just think anything. It becomes reality because it does not need dollar.
No.
To construct anything he thinks about. It doesn't need dollar.
Roland, but this
So
is
that's
really...
the core of the problem.
Yeah, I cannot, we need to zero here. This is interesting for me as well. In other words, we've been training engineers. Well, I have one with me today. Is it true that we have shortage of manpower? Why are we still really inviting Julius Berger? Because of what the first thing he did was to bring Julius Berger 70 billion. And I'm thinking, if that 70 billion is within Delta State, is we spend among us in Delta State, or maybe Urhobo now develop, and funny enough, we have the Nigeria, the Delta State have direct labor agency, which is similar to what you just said in China now. What is wrong with the direct labor agency? Why can't they construct bridges?
So where we got it wrong, this is where we got it wrong. So you have, set of people who are in government and they see politics like a business or like a game. So the woman in the street in Delta State, the boy in the street in Delta State, who will just see a road you gave to them and they will just celebrate you. So Ibori became governor. He just gave people of Ugara road to Ugara. He dualized it for them. And they started celebrating so they can go and vote for him. So they see it as a business. They do not see it as, let's make an effort in a competitive global society to develop our country. They don't see it that way. So Boroweri also now understand the game. He will just come and call Julius Berger and say, do bridge here so that they will be seeing it too, and they will think I have delivered. But it was a very shameful thing when I saw a Boroweri going to inspect drainage system in Asaba. The drainage system is being constructed by a Chinese company. After how many years of independence? This is more than 60 years of independence. The drainage system, if I'm calling it drainage system, I'm just being too polished. Gota, what we do call gota. Then in Uwe, that is what gota. So with the Delta State universities you have, with the civil engineering department you have, with the number of graduates that are graduating every year from it, you want to construct gota in Delta State, you go and bring foreigners, Chinese, to construct gota for you. So it's not practically possible for such a society to move forward. Look at what China is doing. So China copy and they deploy, they advance with their own local resources. So and it's not just China. So what China did, it was the West that started it. It started from the Western Industrial Revolution. They used their own currency. Their currency is not backed by anything. The US dollar is not backed by anything. They just printed the currency, gave it to their own people to build infrastructure for them continually. And that's what they did. Europe also did the same thing. Then finally, Asian countries like South Korea copied it. Then Japan copied it. Then ultimately, the Chinese now copied it. So what you do is they change the game upside down. So what the Western country wants you to do is you want to construct road, you go and meet them to take $2 billion and give it to a foreign company to take it away, or sell your crude oil and give it to a foreign company to carry your crude oil resources away and give you road. The only country in Africa that has come out of this colonial, it's called colonial economic structure. The only African country that is coming out of it is Burkina Faso. And you see, within the short time, this military government took over there, and it's using its people to construct housing. They are constructing housing non-stop. Non-stop for their people. Because what do you need to construct house?
Exactly.
Non-stop for their people. Then look at roads. Within the short time, if you look at the road network, that captain, that young man of less than 40 years has done. Then you see Tinubu and his Minister of Work, Dave Umahi, who also is an engineer. He is claiming he's constructing road. Are you constructing road? You are just an agent. You are a pay agent. You are not the one constructing roads. He is Dave engineer says he's a professor of road construction. He is not a professor of road. He's just a pay agent to foreign contractors who are constructing the road after how many years of independence.
No, Roland, this is serious. And Nigerians, this is serious. Let's get the matter straight.
Look, you don't even need to talk of China. The same model China is using. Indonesia is almost the same as Nigeria. Indonesia has a population of 270 million people. Indonesia's GDP is around 1.3 billion. $1.3 trillion, I mean, in Indonesia GDP, almost the same population with Nigeria. Nigeria GDP is less than $200 billion.
Yes.
Indonesia is using their own state-owned contractor to construct road for them, infrastructure. Then you see Nigeria, Tinubu goes to the National Assembly, then they will sing a song for him, on your mandate we shall stand, just to get money to pay foreigners to take the money away from Nigeria. Then how do you expect Nigerians to move forward? It's not practically possible. So that is one. Then another thing, the country itself, the way you design the country, you do not design the country to be export-based country. And that's the secret of China. China is designed to be export-based. And what is the secret? Industrial cities, free trade zone. So when you create free trade zone, so that manufacturing can take place in the country for export. That's what China did. That's what Singapore did. That is what Indonesia is doing now. That is what Japanese, they did. So when you create your free trade zone, attract manufacturing companies to manufacture for export purposes, you are creating wealth for your country, you are creating jobs in your country, but it's not so in Nigeria. So the Nigerian system is not designed to favor Nigerian people, to make Nigerian people to be productive. No, it is designed for the representative of the colonial master
Which
in
is the
a
same
co-colonization structure that seize power and they use the power to get money allocated to themselves, and they pay their Western agents to come and do roads to deceive people, and they continue in that circle forever. So that's what you do forever.
Roland, see, those people watching us today, I'm sure they might just miss in case you miss the news. Two things Roland mentioned here. We're coming to the free trade zone later because there's no sincerity or purpose there. But I am very familiar with the free trade zone. But let's stick to this very part first. Are you saying that our engineers, they forgot to learn the construction of roads in their 5 years at the university? And
what about the professors you have?
No, Roland, let's even talk about them. Let's talk about them. In today Nigeria, ordinary mechanic can fix your car well. So is it true we lack the manpower, or like you said,
it is the people you have in government. These people, they are, if you want, for lack of a better word, they are like just evil-minded people who do not care. They see it as a game, as a scheme. You know, one time I want to build a structure in one of my facility in Saple. I want to build a yard, a workshop yard. Then the engineers, two of the engineers, they came to me. They said they've gotten contractor to do it, and they gave me budget. I will pay some millions to do it. Then I asked them, what did they study in school? One told me mechanical engineer, one told me civil engineer. I said, that's good. Okay. You study mechanical engineer, and I should go and give millions to somebody to come and build workshop for me, and I'm paying you monthly. So if I pay you, then I will sack you if I bring that person.
Exactly.
So if you cannot think, and they told me they do not have crane to lift all the trusses, they will wet them, they don't have it. I said, did you do physics? They said yes. I said, why do you think they taught you pulley? What do you think it's used for? They went and do their own research and finished the workshop themselves. And even what they came up with was even more than what I was expecting them, because they now designed like a manual crane, put it together, fabricate, and they started lifting everything up when they heard that I will sack them if they do not do it themselves. The Nigerian people, the youth, they have capacity to construct their own roads. They are contractors in Nigeria even that can do all those roads. They are even the government. So you see Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping, you go and borrow money from. Xi Jinping is providing services. The money is even giving you. It's not money he's giving you, he's giving you service. So you go and meet Xi Jinping that come and do a railway line for me. He will not send his engineers that China Railway Engineering Construction Company go and construct a railway line for Nigeria and give them invoice of $5 billion. Imagine a president of one country providing services to Nigerian president, that you invoice him $5 billion. That's what they are doing. So when they construct the road for you, it is Xi Jinping that is constructing the road, because the company, go and check this number, the company constructing the road is Chinese state-owned company, Chinese state-owned company. So it means it's Xi Jinping that is constructing road for you. It's quite a fortunate situation we find ourselves. And some people think we can move forward. You are still in colonization. Nothing has changed. The only things that have changed is the name you have rebranded. Yes. And you give the people that are representing the colonial master a sense of leadership. You're still in colonization, where your infrastructure is constructed by foreigners, even after 60 years of independence. It took China 40 years to become what they are today. 40 years to become what they are today.
let me bring you to something very interesting. These our universities. Now we want to blame the government a little bit, but let's look at the universities. Alaba, the CNN came to Nigeria and they said that the Alaba model is the highest incubator of successful businesses worldwide. That's according to CNN. Meaning we have, even other than the university, we have our own traditional system that is working. Are you convinced, Roland, that we are bringing out graduates that are good enough to fit into the Nigerian society from there? Let me put one thing to clear here. And if yes, then that will be on one good side of it. But let me ask you this, Roland. Please, and I'm very more familiar with the industry I want to talk to you about. I'm a movie maker, I'm a filmmaker. One of the biggest challenges we have is because it's a new industry, we don't have the right personnel here because there's no university in Nigeria that teach you how to do cinematography. They don't teach you editing. It's not in the Nigerian university. So we only do that through apprenticeship. And it's having a little bit of skill gap in the industry at the moment. But this is what is surprising to me, Roland. Nollywood is the biggest industry, second to the biggest in the world as today. There's no Nigerian university that teaches you, that offer courses that will be relevant to Nollywood. But all the Nigerian universities, they offer courses in theater art. How many theater studios do we have in Nigeria? Have you gone to the theater to go and watch a play once? What are we doing with the Nigerian university with all the theaters? And Nollywood is there looking for staff that the Nigerian university refuses to train people for. Can we still blame the West? Is this a Western colonization, or we refuse to think for ourselves?
So it's a good question, but then the society itself is driven by three things: one, training; two, leadership; three, mentorship. So when the guy that is the leader do not understand this, that capacity need to be built from the Nigerian people strategically. It's not strategically. Yes, so you have to create a system that builds capacity strategically. You know what the Americans, Donald Trump is doing now to counter China? So there are industries before now that the Americans they've outsourced because it is cheaper to manufacture those products or to produce those raw materials in China and in some other parts of the world. One of it is rare earth materials. And that rare earth material, it has become a game changer now for China. China produces more than 90% of it. They are the only ones who have the capacity to do it. But do you know now that the American government now, they have nationalized it? It means no, even though it's not going to be profit business for us, the government is taking leadership now to ensure that it is done in Nigeria. So what are we saying? So what a government should do, and you see, this discussion is going far. Let me give you what the Chinese have done. You have a strategic place in Africa. So let me give you one. So if Nigeria today, for instance, you have been able to master the development of infrastructure of your country, that means housing. It is the Nigerian state company that does it perfectly. It means you cannot be providing services to even all these African countries at a cost lower than what China offer. You see, it's going to be source of revenue to Nigeria, and it's also going to be pride to even Africa. That you go to Niger Republic, Benin Republic, instead of you to send people to go and bomb, you are sending your engineers to go and build 1 million flat housing estate, 50 story high rise, or you're going to build an industrial estate for Benin Republic. You are taking economic might to Benin if you have perfected it in your country. But what did you go and learn Benin? You went to learn Benin bombing and killing of people because the French said, go and bomb them. It is not economic value you are going to create in Benin. So what you should learn, the leadership you should provide. You now need leaders in Africa and leaders in Nigeria that they on their own can create value in terms of, in terms of training, mentorship, and leadership in your infrastructure development and also in your technology development. Look at the example the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo gave. He said when he was developing the cement industry with Dangote, he had to even hire people to be working with them because he wants Nigeria to be independent in cement manufacturing. And when he completed that, he also said he introduced Dangote to other African countries to set up the same thing. That means we're already expanding what we have learned from our domestic industry.
Roland, let me hold you there. I'm bringing Obasanjo back. Now, the question is, rather than Dangote, why is the Nigerian state, that's why I'm angry with Obasanjo, why did he not engage the Nigerian state? And the Chinese is doing it. Is the Chinese state doing it? What stopped the Nigerian state from doing it? Why Dangote? Because if we had gone that, it's only when Dangote has time now. Dangote have a lot of businesses. So he might not even have time to develop that cement across Africa. But Nigeria, if we have expertise in cement today, I remember I was in Antigua and Barbuda. One of the things they wanted was Dangote cement. They needed cement. And they wanted a deal with Dangote. You understand? That is in the Caribbean. So Obasanjo did not do that for the country. This so selfish, or I don't know what I call it selfish, but I think it was one of the biggest mistakes of Obasanjo too. Empowering a single individual, which is good, but what stopped us from the state doing it?
Yeah, so the idea of statehood, we are losing it. The idea of statehood. So you see where countries, they've gotten it right. Like if you look at China, what is their problem now? China problem is deflation. So with their 1.4 to 1.5 billion people, they can cater for their people, even more than Nigeria that just have 250 million people. The reason is they are not using their people, to run their manufacturing, to run their industries. And that is what you expect from a country like Nigeria. It's not outsourcing everything. Then the politicians, what are the politicians doing invariably if you outsource everything? They are just like
too many people. We are just human beings wasted. That's my pain.
Yes.
Look at the youth that you see. If today, Roland, if have you seen the bulk of youth coppers coming out? They don't even have anywhere to place them. They send them to primary schools or to some dead schools. That's where the children end up serving. So an engineer who studied mechanical engineering is going to end up teaching. If you study mass communication, you're going to end up teaching. Of what use? What is that going to add to value? Meaning that's a country that is not productive. Yet we are outsourcing the production of our things, our infrastructure, like you rightly mentioned. What is it that Nigerian government can produce for itself? Have you seen our stadium? Roland, what is in the stadium that we are looking for people to come out? Look at the one the boy in Burkina said.
They bring foreigners to construct stadium for you. Everything. Almost everything are done by foreigners.
90%. The stadium built in Burkina is 90% done by locals.
Yes. The stadium built in Burkina now was 100% by Burkina base. That's the only African country that they are thinking independently. That's the only independent African country. The others, just like Nigeria. So they see politics like, this scam. They are not different from the normal scam you do. So the prosy game. So you need to show the people something. And because the people are also very ignorant, they don't know the impact of what these people are doing to them, then they also clap hand for them. That's why you see somebody as a president, as a governor. Imagine the amount of money you spend in infrastructure from the federal level, Ministry of Works, Ministry of Housing, to the state level, and they are more than 90% foreign-based construction projects.
Yes.
So
From the time of
the money you are taking as loan, the money you are struggling to make, you are taking it and selling it
back to
outside
the
the,
country.
the country.
And then
Then you will not come back
was
and say
spending
you
50 million.
even that the Chris. Let me even tell you something. You will not come back and tell us that you want to stabilize the naira. How do you stabilize your currency? Is the value you are creating that stabilizes your currency.
Yeah.
You cannot be using foreign currency to run your country. Then you say you want to stabilize the naira. The naira will keep falling because you are not producing anything. The little money you are getting, you're giving it to foreigners to take them away.
I'm going to beg Roland to come back. Roland, let me ask you, can we then say, looking at this man now, our president, that he's an ignorant man, not necessarily wicked?
Then, Daddy Chris, this question is a very tough question you have asked. You know why it is a tough question?
Yes.
It is a tough question because some of them, presumably, they travel. Some of them even stay overseas. But what I have come to realize today is that some of them are just in the overseas looking at those structures and wishing that, okay, this structure, we can go and pay people to build it in our country. They don't know that the people who built those structures in their country are the citizens of those countries.
God bless you. So, and
they don't know.
Yes, there's a language we use that because you stayed abroad doesn't mean, I use one word. I said some people stayed in the UK, some people live here. Some of them just stayed here. They didn't live here. They don't even know what is going on. So to think that they have been abroad for some time, so he has knowledge of what is happening here, that's a very big mistake.
That is where the problem is.
Yes.
That's where the problem is. So let's put it this way. So there are two sectors you want to secure in your economy. The agriculture. You want to ensure that your people are the one producing what you are eating. And Nigeria has the capacity to do that.
In fact, if we don't,
it's even risky
yes.
to allow the two, your infrastructure, you want to make sure that it is your people that are developing the infrastructure. Your people with local currency. So, if, for instance, you have the Nigerian State Engineering Construction Company,
yes,
and the state is using Nigerian raw material, Nigerian people, it means your transaction is in naira. Okay. That's what it means.
Roland,
you're paying the Nigerian people naira. You are buying sand from the Nigerian people in naira. You are buying bitumen from the Nigerian people. It means your infrastructure is in naira. It means whatever your president conceives, just like the Chinese president, can become reality without going to World Bank.
You don't need to go anywhere. No, Roland, let's put it this way. Let's look at this way. You are not talking of the federal government. What about the state? The state, even I'm saying now, Delta State has a body called the Direct Labor Agency, which their job really is to do this kind of construction. Why did Ibori not expand on it? Ibori set it up in his time. From Ibori time till Odwaha down to Okowa, and this time only in Delta State. If they tell you how much of our money they have gone to Julius Berger, to foreigners to construct bastard things for us, you will not, some of them are not even going to last.
So, Daddy Chris, you know what some will say? Some will say, Nigerians do not have the experience. They do not have this. When the Chinese started in 1979, when they started this whole thing, the first set of structures they did, some of them collapsed.
Of course.
But they learned from it. They learned from it. Yes, they learned from that. And today, the Chinese State Construction Engineering Company is the largest construction company in the world. The Chinese State Engineering Construction Company is selling construction services to almost all parts of the world today. It's selling it. If you see the amount of money Xi Jinping makes just with that company going to build roads and railway for people in different parts of the world, is enormous. They learned it from somewhere. So if you want to give excuse that the Nigerian civil engineers, they cannot do, let them start. Let's just even take a micro project. Yes. The Nigerian state government, for instance, or let's say the Nigerian federal government said they want to use local, purely local, to build minimum of 10,000 flats, accommodation, 10
Public.
story building, but
Roland,
in
why
upstate
why
of
you
the
going to the
federation.
federal government?
And
Why
you see
don't you
what?
talk of Delta State?
You see what
What
they
does it
want to
cost?
do with that?
What does it
Yes,
cost?
they said we have created
Yes.
we have created our own Nigerian company.
Yes.
That the company we want to use it to build 10,000 flats in each state. Let them give us land. Then the company goes there to do survey. We say everything is 100% Nigeria. Let's see the way the structures will perform. You know why they will not do it? These people also find it easy to get their kickbacks from the foreign companies they give these contracts to. They also do not want the cost of infrastructure development to crash. They don't want that. They want to just budget. We are giving this company 100 billion, then they will take back their 10 billion to go and run their election. They prefer it that way.
The sign was 70 billion to Julius Berger. The first contract the man issued. 70 billion.
So you see, the Arise TV, the presenter, the problem he had with the Minister of Works, he said, "Tell us what is the cost of this road per kilometer?" And the guy was stammering. He was stammering because they prefer to get foreign company that they will just give money and get what they want to get, instead of building local capacity. How is it that a country with 250 million people, you have how many universities? The universities you have in the country, they are countless. The number of civil engineers that are graduating and all other engineers that are graduating is countless. But yet,
Roland, how many schools of agriculture do we have in the country? What are they used for? Listen, we're going to come back to this topic, Roland. It's going to be a day on this because we need to really examine this and ask the Nigerian government. Like, it's a question I'm going to ask again. Roland, you've not answered the question. I'm going to throw it back to you. Are these people wicked or they are just ignorant?
The first thing is, I think it's both. Why I think it's both?
Yes.
China had the same problem we are having now. They compare themselves with Japan. And they realize that they are big. Japan is small, but Japan is far more powerful than them.
Yes.
So they set up a body to do a research that what is the problem. So what the research went back to, the research realized that China is big, but they lack indigenous technology. While Japan is small, Japan had their own indigenous technology. So the recommendation of the research is that China government should only be based on technocrat. So the unwritten policy, there is a plan they call Plan 863 of China that led to the industrial development of China, bringing China to where it is today. So priority was not given to those that are of the technicals. If you're not of the technical, you cannot lead the Chinese people. And you see, Xi Jinping is an engineer. You see what his ideas have done in the country under his reign. So I think they are both. Most of these people, they do not know the implication of also what they are doing. So you see somebody like Nelson Wike think governance is just to give a contractor, contracts, and they build road and come to think that I've constructed road. You're not the one constructing the road.
Thank you.
Stop deceiving. You're not the one. You're just a paymaster to foreigners that take away the money Nigeria is supposed to be making. And that's why you are telling people you are constructing road for them, and the people are becoming more impoverished by the day. Because the money that is coming out of the land of the people is not going back to their pockets. It's not affecting the lives of the people. It is foreigners that are taking it in exchange for cement they cast for you, and they take away the money. Our brother, Sheriff from Borowori, he has also understood the game. So he can get people to do roads, and they clap on and they sing, and he tells people that the code is enough for everybody. But then, if you go to Warri today, you go to Uwia today, you go to Okbeland today, you go to Saple, you go to Asaba, it is POS you see everywhere because the money that is coming to the state is not going to the hands of the people. The people are not part of the story of how the roads are being constructed. They are not part of the story about how their housing is being conducted. They are not in the story.
No.
They are outside the story.
Okpetu, that is a good place to tell you thank you, Roland, for today. I cannot thank you enough. You know what? I don't want to stress you. I want you back because we really need to come back and look at this very particular, because we said we are independent, and this is an example of a people that is mentally handicapped. We lack the mental capability to call ourselves an independent people. And that is where we are. We are not independent yet, people. If we're going to be independent, we can be. And we need to do everything to be independent. Like Roland said, a governor that is a paymaster to the Chinese government is telling you that he's constructing road. Are you the one that constructed the road? Oh, you gave the contract to people to construct. That makes you a contract. So the government is a contractor, contracting our money to foreigners to bring the. No, come on, this is sad. Roland has put it in a better perspective than I can ever do. Well, I'm going to say we're going to try and wrap up the show because I'll be having Roland back. Thank God he's in Nigeria at the moment. In this period of Xmas, I'm going to be on his case. Anytime he's free, he's going to be with me here. So take a look at this important aspect. Don't forget, we did go into petroleum engineering today, and he has his own personal experience that Delta State, when I say to you people that we actually are the cause of our own problem, because if someone like Roland come and say, vote for me, oh, he's not this, he's not that, but then you vote for Okodo. Okodo, you're a good guy, but Okodo, that being a good guy doesn't mean you'll be a good governor. They didn't learn at first. Okay, the job they didn't know, and that is part of the things we don't have. I've been in my time. I've seen Wike. Wike is in Abuja now. I know he's dancing on projects. What they call projects. Who is doing the project? Did you know who is doing the project for Wike? It's some foreign company. So Wike will contract the job. Our little oil money. The oil is not that we could refine it to the crude oil will go. They give us the little one. The little one they give to us, we give it to another foreign company to come and do. So we are in poverty. That explains why we are poor. Imagine if the money we are spending really on construction, on farming, if it is going into the hands of our own people, don't you think we'll be richer? And until we learn to do this, we're not going to get that from where we are. But I'm going to try and close the show right here, right there, because I'm going to have Roland back. He's a little bit out of the network at the moment, so it's not a bad place to wrap up the show. And I want to thank you all for joining this show. Don't forget, my name is Daddy Priest, and there was Roland who has been taking us on this beautiful journey. I had the opportunity to just sit down and watch today. That's what I enjoy when I'm with this woman. But I'm going to spend this period of Xmas to bring in a lot of experts into this show, where we're going to talk about how we can move this country to the next level. Nigeria has all it takes. You know what I love about it? I always remind myself, we have all the human resources. When they say you have human resources, what does it mean? Meaning you can set up this kind of company Roland has been talking about. Why on earth do we have the direct labor agency and one Chinese bagger is the one constructing our bridges? It's a question for tomorrow. You might not want to answer me now. The question is, if Ubudibudi ever set up a company, Delta State-owned company, within one of the ministry, that their job is to construct homes, do you think we have homeless situation in Delta State? We'll be building estates and the place will be planned. Until this come to our mind, we're not going anywhere. And we need to hold our people responsible. Like, I want to thank Roland for using the right word today on this show. I think Roland is trying to come back. I want to give him 1 minute to close the show. I want him to give an advice to them if he's able to join me. What I want to say is this. Will it be so bad? Or imagine how beautiful it is that we have a company in Delta State that we pay. This is exactly what I'm trying to do with my own company. Because I want to set up a production home that my staff, my editors are in-house, my directors are in-house, my actors might be some of them that will not be in-house. And these people are 24 hours just making movies for me. So I don't go out. They shoot, they edit, they put, they shoot, they edit, they put. I just want to have them. And they might not have all the capacity at the beginning, but I'm going to give them time to have it and continue to make the content for me. It's going to take me some journey, but I'm going to get there. And I'm not letting any of them go. Anybody I'm signing this contract with, if I train you, you're not going anywhere, because if you go anywhere, I'll arrest you. Let me see what I can have Roland back quickly before we end the show. Roland, are you there? Let me add Roland to the show.
Yeah.
Are you there, Roland? Yes. I said, I'm not going to disturb you anymore. The time for the show is over. But I just want you to as a matter of advice to our people and to our leaders, what would you say to the Nigerian leader of today that can turn the things around in very brief words? And what you expect that the Nigerian people should we be more patient with them? What do we need to do so that they can help us get to where we want to be? Okay, for some reason the network is not helping.
So, like, I would give. Hello, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah, can hear you. Yeah, we're with you.
Hello.
Yeah, we're with you. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so there are a couple of advice I will give, like to those in government. One, I think we have to change our approach to national governance. There are a couple of things which I think should form the basis of our government plans and programs. One of it is what we talked about. We need to create a state-owned engineering construction company that will be primarily be the vehicle to develop all the infrastructures we need. We need endless amount of road. We need endless amount of seaport. We need endless amount of housing. We need endless amount of railway line. We should have our state-owned construction company just to be constructing them non-stop. Non-stop. And not just for only the federal government, including for the states who cannot establish their own. In China, there are also provinces like Shanghai and some other provinces that have their own engineering construction company that carry out their infrastructure development. I think the Nigerian government should start thinking in that direction, for one. Then two, our discussion did not get to that.
Yes, we'll do that another. Yeah. Okay, the network is not really helping matters at the moment. It's actually at a matter of time.
Area today, but then.
Okay, Roland, network is not helping, so we're going to try and have this other bit of it another day. Roland, you've done justice for today. I want to say that the show's supposed to be 1 hour, and 1 hour 22 minutes already. So we'll be wrapping up the show right here, right now. And I want to just follow what Roland just said. And this is very, very important. I think it's the right thing we can ever do to ourselves as a people right now. We've been talking of infrastructure. Now I'm going to ask this, and that is the advice Roland is trying to give, and I'm trying to get from his mouth to you, Mr. Governor, Mr. President, Mr. Local Government Chairman. We need state-owned, federal government-owned, local government-owned companies. One will be in the area of the infrastructure, because I know you local government, all you do is construct roads. You park sand on road, you say you're constructing it. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. But can the local people do it? Can you just set it up if you don't have enough people employed from outside, and then start training your own people so the money can remain within you? So that will be one important thing. Another important thing will be the area of agriculture. We need to feed ourselves, and exactly if what we're talking about in Rose now, if we do it in agriculture, we'll be smiling. We'll be smiling. And hey, then when I talk of construction, please, housing. These are basic necessity of life. With shelter, food, and good roads, we'll be all right. The rest will be fancy. Like I said, Roland could not join us back, but I'm going to bring Roland back maybe tomorrow if he's having the chance to be with us. I really wanted him to close the show if there's that chance is there. Roland, can you just give us a minute to close the show for me? Just a word for us. Just one line before we let you go.
Okay. So for the viewers at home, can you guys hear me? Yes. For the viewers at home,
yes,
what I would say is that we have the capacity to actually do what it takes to develop our country. The young people, they demonstrated that they have the right intelligence. They just needed the support. So the young people, since things are not going well, instead of thinking of running out of the country through dangerous means, I will advise them to get their hands into different trades. You can learn some skills. And also those who are able to further their education, yes, also get education. Then those who can be able to start up business. One thing I would say is that your businesses should not just be limited to Nigeria. We should not just be thinking only Nigeria. There are things you can do. It could be tech business. It could be innovative business. You can, from Nigeria, be setting up businesses in other parts of Africa and even other parts of the world, and you'll be making revenue from different places. So expand your ideas, expand your thinking, put it into business so that we all can continue to survive depending when things get better in the country.
Thank you very much, Roland. Thank you very much. And that will be a perfect place to wrap up the show. Thank you very much. Please, for those of you, instead of thinking of running down to us here, now we are getting old, we're thinking about to come back. It's actually better back at home. And I cannot blame you for wanting to come here. But we know what we can do. If Nigeria gets better, you can come here and go home the same day. In those days, Nigerians, they come to UK, they spend Naira in London when we had a very good currency. There was no need for visa. Today, now they won't even give you visa. So let us think of having that dignity as a people, and everything will come back to us. Thank you very much. And to the state governor, to the state, I was really going to say this again. We need our own state-owned companies, which comes down to exactly why I agree sometimes with Peter, is that we should be thinking of how to become a productive society. Productive, not the one to give contract out. No, contract the thing to us. Keep the money within us. Let the state-owned company do the job. Let our state-owned agriculture do it. Let our state-owned housing do it. So that at the end of the day, the jobs are generated at home. So that will be a government by the people, for the people, and in the interest of the people. Thank you very much for joining me today. We will do this again tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much, Roland. Yeah. Thank you so much. So as usual, because this is Urhobo show, I'm going to end it on Urhobo music, and we're going to dance. All right? You know, I like this Urhobo women when they dance. So we're going to hit it. Thank you very much. Bye for now.